Hi everyone, this is Ed Gutowski. I just wanted to create a welcome video which I introduce you to class and kind of talk about the course materials and how the course is going to work. I just want to let you know that English 302 is a super fun class. English 302 is a class that focuses on rhetoric and argument, and it is always such a fun class to teach. I've taught it both online and on ground with great success. So I'm really looking forward to teaching this class. And I thought I would talk about just kind of introducing the class. So our class is going to be asynchronous, and so we're never going to meet during a Zoom session. You're basically going to have the full week to work on course assignments, and everything will be due on the Sunday of the following week. I did that with my class last semester, found it was great, student success. Students had enough time to balance their time between the readings and between getting the coursework. So that's the game plan for our class. So I want to talk a little bit about the books for class, and all the books are required for class. So let me talk first about the first textbook. This is Everything is an Argument. This is the textbook that will help us to understand how rhetoric and argument work. I've been using it, probably ever since I've taught English 302. Great success with students. It really helps them understand key concepts and arguments of rhetoric and argument. Some of the assignments are pretty engaging and promote critical thinking, so we will look at that textbook. A couple of novels that we're going to read. The first novel we're going to read is Into the Wild by Jon Krakauer. This is a really fun and engaging book. I'm really excited to get back into the Wild. It's a true story about a kid who's kind of similar situation as I find that many of the students in my class are. This is a kid who's going to college. He's going to one of the elite colleges in the nation, and then he's getting ready to graduate. He does something rather foolish. He basically sells all of his positions, gets rid of all of his cash, and just kind of disappears in the wild, and no one knows what happened to him. And 6 months later, he walks into Alaska with 10 pounds of rice, a pistol, and tries to live off the land. And no surprise, he ends up dying of starvation. And Jon Krakauer, who's the author of the book, wants to know what motivates the kid to do something, kid who had everything going for him, to do something so foolish and rash. And what I found is that this book stimulates great discussion within students. There's some really great arguments. And as we get into that novel, I'm going to have you kind of be the detective to kind of figure out what motivated this kid. Into the Wild is always fun, and that's the book I'm really excited about. We're also going to look about a book on the Holocaust. This is called Rihanna's Diary. It's a brand new book that was discovered recently about the Holocaust, and it's often been compared to Anne Frank. But this story is a little bit different. It was recently discovered. It's about a young girl that was living in Poland. First the Germans occupied, then the Soviets occupied. So it gives us this kind of unique perspective of both the Holocaust and World War II. I've been teaching it ever since I went on ground, and just found that students really liked looking at the book and kind of looking at arguments and ideas within the Holocaust. The last book we're going to read is called The Hate You Give, which, again, I've used before. And it's an interesting book to talk about as we can examine issues of race and racism in America, which is kind of a timely topic this day. We'll also look at one Shakespeare play, Henry V. I know that sometimes students might be intimidated by looking at Shakespeare on an online class, but what I found is that that students really enjoyed Henry V. It's a great play. It deals with rhetoric and argument at its core, because it's about a young, inexperienced prince who becomes king of England and decides to do something brash and go to war with France. So the subject matter is pretty fun. It's engaging. It really deals with rhetoric and argument. And again, even students, as I've gone online, have really liked the lesson plan. It felt it was accessible, even though sometimes Shakespeare can be somewhat challenging. And then the last book is the Siegel Reader Essays. So there's a set of essays we'll read in the Siegel Reader. Believe it or not, that was voted the best book that I've used in my classes. There's a variety of essays and arguments that students really like a lot. So these are all the books that we have for the class. It's going to be a lot of fun. And what you're going to do for week one's fairly easy. All you need to do, there's two discussion boards. One which you'll introduce yourself to me. You'll send me an email as well. And then there's a set of poems that are going to be the foundation of our class. So there's a discussion board. At the end of the class, there's an essay. I'm really looking forward to seeing what your thoughts are. It's going to be a really fun class. Feel free to email me if you have any questions or concerns. And what you'll find throughout the semester is I'll create mini lectures like this. So the class will be engaging and you'll still have my presence in here. But the most of the lectures will just be recorded. So it's going to be a fun class, and I look forward to seeing and looking at your ideas.